Hi, I'm Steph Garcia for AthleticDirectorU and D1 Ticker, and I am so excited to be here at beautiful Cleveland State University to discuss the new strategic plan for the Vikings. I'm joined by Deputy ADs Tyler Jones and Kelsie Gory Harkey, and let's just get right into it.
That's great.
So, guys, tell me a little bit about what your roles were in the development of this plan.
I think it was a collective conversation, certainly with Scott's leadership and putting the framework together, but really providing different perspective from an external point of view for me and certainly from an internal point of view for Kelsie, but really a collective conversation, a deep assessment and exploration on our end, and it was a phenomenal experience.
And I know when Scott joined here in 2019 of April, that was one of his first priorities, was taking a look at, what is our mission, who are we, and how we are going to get there. And so when Tyler and I came on board, really started to collect our group together, gather feedback, and really identify, what is our mission, providing a transformational student athlete experience. And then how are we going to achieve that, right? What are our goals? And so really engaging with all of our stakeholders, our staff, our coaches, alumni, student athletes, most importantly, of course, and really starting to collect, right? What is the CSU experience and how can we continue to grow that?
Well, you guys both have very strong fan engagement backgrounds. How can athletics enhance the overall CSU brand?
Sure, I'll take that one. I think the cliche is, athletics is the front porch of a university. I like to interpret it as a pathway and gateway to the university and the community. And we're unique in terms of where we're nestled in downtown Cleveland. And for athletics to be positioned to really tell student success stories is compelling for us. And certainly through this strategic plan, we'll find strategic ways to do that.
Do you have anything to add, Kelsie?
I guess I would just add, from a fan engagement perspective, our students play such an important role, right, in who we are as athletics. And so really being able to engage them in the strategic plan as well, and making athletics a part of the Cleveland State experience for all of our students.
Yeah, so kind of pivoting off of that, how did you guys communicate and get, buy-in from coaches, from the rest of your staff, from the student athletes themselves?
So we really started off by being intentional and engaging all of our different stakeholders. I think we started with sitting down with each different group and just really asking them questions, right? I think one of the biggest pieces that we learned was not to go in with a end in mind, really just starting from a place of curiosity. So I think we collected all of our questions and just engaged those different stakeholders, right? We have a great student athlete group. So we worked with SAC, our AD Leadership Council, again, our coaches, our alumni that have been a part of our program, and really just asked those questions coming from a curiosity perspective.
Well, was there anything brought up in those conversations, any needs that were identified that kind of surprised you or that maybe you didn't originally envision were an area of need?
I would say just given the timing, right, when our charge was to have this plan done pre-pandemic, and then that happened, right? So during that process, I think the environment dictated and pivoted some things and maybe helped us emphasize specific pieces. One is a mental health perspective, and that's one piece that certainly is woven into all that we do. But given the environment, that really rose to the top of how can we wrap our arms around that for our student athletes. So that's probably one in particular, given the current climate, that really helped us really narrow and focus on a specific area.
Yeah, so kind of, again, pivoting off of that, what part of this plan do you think is going to make the biggest impact on the overall student athlete experience?
Well, I would start off, for me, our first goal, right, is to enhance the CSU's mission of an engaged learning for our student athletes and for all of our students. And so for me, I think, right, that's going to have one of the biggest impacts of just being able to look at the holistic student athlete experience, right? What are they learning in the classroom? how are we helping them excel and exceed in their athletic activity? But who are they as people, right? Who are they as leaders? What do they want to do when they graduate from CSU, and really helping them thrive while they're here, find that passion, and then be able to go out and do whatever that is that makes them, them and makes them tick. And so for me, that's what I'm most excited about. And I think will really have the biggest impact on our student athletes is just looking holistically at who they are as individuals.
So another big part of this plan is providing professional development opportunities for you, for the staff, for the employees. How will this help play a role in, recruiting, retention, advancing the personal goals of, your coaches and your staff?
I think, in order for us to be able to provide a transformational student athlete experience when it comes to us as staff and administration and coaches, we have to put into ourselves, right? I like the saying, you can't pour into somebody else's cup if your cup is empty. And so really committed to helping our coaches and our staff identify how can they continue to be strategic leaders, subject matter experts in whatever that area is, to be able to provide that transformational student athlete experience. And then I think the other piece of our strategic plan that I'm really excited about is our graduate assistance programs and our internships, right? So really being able to focus on athletics future leaders, right? We know we're in a time of change in athletics, and we need individuals who are creative thinkers, who are committed to the mission of college athletics, and who can come in and really commit to that. So we're excited to grow our GA program and our intern program to really help build leaders for tomorrow.
I would add into that. I think it's modeling the behavior, right? Higher education and intercollegiate athletics is the learning laboratory for our coaches, our senior leaderships, and our student athletes have to see that. So it's critical for folks like myself, and leaders in our department to model that behavior, to Kelsey's point of pouring into our student athletes. But for us, it's a growth mindset. Our student athletes see that. So the investment in professional development top down is really critical for our student athletes to see that it's a transformational experience, not only for them, but for the staffs that serve them.
How will the community be integrated into athletics through this plan?
I think engagement, we talked about that earlier, meeting our supporters, our alumni, our students, our faculty and staff where they are. And that's critical for us. This strategic plan takes a community, takes the folks on campus to help us achieve those goals. I'm excited about that. The pandemic has really helped us emphasize the engagement. Our supporters are yearning for that connection. So this plan gives us a roadmap to better engage with the folks on campus and our community that have an investment in CSU athletics.
And I would just add to that, right? I think our saying here is Cleveland is our campus, right? And so we have such an awesome opportunity to engage with the Cleveland community, whether it's alums who are still in Northeast Ohio. We have, a Cleveland Clinic right down the road. From a healthcare perspective, we've got Fortune 500 companies in the city. And so really an awesome opportunity to leverage their leaders, right? And work with them on how can we, whether it's connecting them with student athletes who are interested in that industry, providing mentorship, right? And guidance. There's just so much opportunity when it comes to the city of Cleveland.
And I would add to that too, the unique thing about CSU, right? 80% of our alums reside in Northeast Ohio. That's remarkable. That coupled with being in Cleveland, right? And the endless possibilities for our student athletes, sure, but for our community to engage with us, right? The engaged learning piece is important at Cleveland State, but having the alumni in our backyard, staying here, building a family, building a career is phenomenal for our student athletes.
So the plan identifies men's basketball as, this anchor program to bring back alumni and engage some new donors. What innovative marketing strategies do you think you're going to kind of launch into as part of this plan, and how will you involve student athletes specifically?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. The remarkable thing about it in terms of the leadership alignment, our men's basketball program recognized that. Right. They recognize that they are an anchor to not only the athletics department, but the university. They thrive in being spokesmen and women for the university. So that's really critical to have people that really embrace that challenge. And then second, we're bringing high caliber student athletes, high caliber coaches that flourish in that environment, right? You can have an awesome marketing campaign, a phenomenal engagement plan, but not having the right folks in the room and the right people in those positions, it fails. So I'm thrilled that we have the right people in the right positions, and we have this roadmap to help us to really engage our supporters, alumni, and our students and faculty and staff appropriately.
So I was a student athlete, and I'm a female, I'm a minority. What if I was a student athlete coming to Cleveland State? What would the strategic plan, what opportunities would it provide for someone like me?
Yeah, I love that question. I really appreciate you asking. I think for us, it's providing a transformational experience for all of our student athletes. But for your question in particular, as it relates to students of color, it starts with representation and being intentional from a DEI perspective and recruiting, hiring, and retaining leaders from diverse backgrounds. That's critical for creating that environment for our student athletes in particular. And again, no better place than Cleveland, Ohio, a very diverse community nestled in downtown Cleveland that we can go out and recruit high caliber leaders with diverse backgrounds is critical. And I'm really, really excited to get to work.
And I would just add to that, I think we were very intentional in every step of the strategic planning process to bring in a diverse group of individuals to provide feedback on what are our goals, how can we continue to provide a transformational student athlete experience, how can we, you talk about our leadership, and how can we continue to recruit diverse student athletes to our campus, and what are their needs when they get here, right? And how can we continue to provide an opportunity for everyone to thrive, whatever their identities may be, right? Being able to just provide that transformational student athlete experience.
And I would add a critical piece to do that successfully is listening, right? And asking powerful questions and being open to feedback, right? We're here to serve our student athletes and staff, and to do that effectively, you have to listen and really intake their feedback to design a really meaningful and intentional plan.
Yeah.
So going off that, how will you guys moving forward be evaluating the effectiveness of this plan, and what metrics are you kind of looking for to say we got it right, or we need to adjust the plan in a certain way?
I think first it starts with a prioritization of the plan. This is a very audacious and courageous plan, right? And it's intended to be. We want to stretch ourselves. So the first piece of it is identifying and prioritizing what are some things that we can actually knock off of our list early to show progress, to build confidence from our key stakeholders are critical. But for us, it's an ever-evolving document, right? It's a roadmap. There are going to be some pivots and turns, hopefully not from a pandemic, right? But we recognize that it's a living document, and we're really excited to get to work. And the one piece is prioritization, right? Making sure that we're addressing things that we can, again, accomplish early coming out of the gate.
I think to add to that, I think in athletics we move really quick and we want it done yesterday, which, is great. It helps us move along. But, this is a culture shift in many ways. And these aren't things that can just be a checkbox that we did this and now it's done. It's continually following up with whether it's campus partners, our community, continuing to make programs better, or initiatives that we have for our student athletes. And so I think it's really also communicating, right, to our coaches and staff of this is what success looks like. It's a progress, right? We're not necessarily looking to get to that one end goal, but it's how are we making steps in the next month, several months, year, right, in order to be able to say that we've made that culture shift and we're continuing to provide that.
Fantastic. Well, what are you guys most looking forward to as the athletic year kicks off?
I'm just excited to have our student athletes back on campus. We've got our sports going on in their normal seasons, and there's just so much excitement. We had our first game yesterday, women's soccer, and we had crowd in the stands, and there was just so much energy. And I think we've all done a phenomenal job in the last year and a half to continue to focus on providing a great experience for our student athletes, but there's just nothing that compares to that energy. And I think that's a large reason why we've all been a part of athletics. And so just to see that again was exciting.
I would echo that. And I think for me, the one word that resonates is engagement. And certainly for our athletes, right, it's in competition, but to get a chance to see our faculty on campus and our students engaging with the faculty and staff and the community coming to campus, that part just puts a smile on my face. The engagement, the connection, that's a part of any student's experience here is engagement, growth socially, those pieces that I'm just thrilled to get a chance to witness and be a part of.